Call the November 21st OnPoint Board of Directors meeting to order. We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A few announcements before we begin. There is a sign-up sheet that's on the table by the front here, and another one for visitors and staff and board staff. So if you'd care, mind if you sign in at appropriate time, that'd be fantastic. That'll keep our new assistant right on task.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And to Mark, if you go ahead and introduce her at this time.
Sure. Megan, why don't you stand back? So Megan started on Monday, November 13th. And it had been a little bit of a time since we, of course, had our last person in that position. So we were really ready. We were really ready. And so Megan, not having been in the CMH system before, we kind of went, oh, I wonder how this will work. But I want to say that she's been a very quick learner on everything that we've taught so far, including the setup for this meeting, which is incredibly complicated, as you might imagine. So we're really grateful to have you here, Megan. We're grateful that you get a chance to meet and support this board and the work that we do every month. And that if you have any questions of Megan, not only is she here and able to answer them, but we've got her parents here tonight. To answer really deep, long, back questions. So anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And we look forward to serving you well with Megan's help over the next several years.
Welcome on board. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, thank you very much for taking this position. And we look forward to working with you for a long, long time.
Likewise.
With that, we are live streamed, so we would like to make sure that you are appropriate for broadcasting. So take that in consideration. We have now the provision for public comment. There is agenda items only, 5-minute limit per speaker. Is there anyone in the public that is in attendance that would like to address the board on any issue of the agenda? Second call. Now, who do I ask who's online?
Do you have anybody in the people, if you click on the people, Megan, to see if there's any guests that joined us?
I think there is.
No, okay.
Is,
So you can ask Megan that question from now on.
is Robin able to join us this evening?
I've talked with her a couple of times and we were struggling to get through it. I'm not sure if the technology on her end is right, but we will work on that. Oh, she's tried without success. Please express my apologies. So that's her. Can't make it tonight.
Okay, so you will have an excused absence. Is there anyone else online that would like to address the board? Hearing none, I'll close the provision for public comment. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda as presented.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Johnson to approve the agenda as presented.
I second that.
Second by Kimberly. I will take a roll call. Kimberly?
Here.
Pam?
Here. Yes, yes.
I was trying to make the
So yes.
meeting a little bit shorter. I've already taken attendance.
Okay.
So, okay, we're all on the same page now. Okay, Glenn Brookhouse,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Gail says yes. Jane,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
and Pastor Van Beek.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda, and I'm going to take the executive privilege of introducing, is Stephanie Vandekoy with us tonight or Mary?
Stephanie was planning to be here. She is not. She had asked for a movement up on the agenda because she had a couple of family things that she was juggling. The fact she's not here to me suggests that maybe the juggling plan didn't work so well. So we're probably gonna have a direct report from the LRE tonight.
Okay. That makes the agenda a little shorter. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there any, a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Do I hear support?
Or
Support by Kimberly. Is there any items that any board member would like to have taken off of that consent agenda for further consideration? Hearing none. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call. Pastor Van Beek,
Yes.
Beth Johnson,
yes.
Jane Farrell,
Yes.
Gail Dugan says yes. Mark DeYoung. Yes. Jessica Castaneda,
Yes.
Glenn Brookhouse,
Yes.
Pam Brunner,
Yes.
and Kimberly Burton.
Yeah.
That motion carries.
I'm pleased to report Stephanie's joined us.
Okay, we will, from one step forward to three steps back. Stephanie Vandekoy, are you ready to give us your report this evening?
Yes, I am. My apologies. I think I had two separate links for this and I might have been on the wrong one. So sorry about that.
Well, we appreciate you joining us this evening. You can go ahead and give the board your report.
Okay,
Thank you.
wonderful. Couple of updates for you. First, I want to just let the group know that we have hired our new veteran navigator. Her name is Autumn Hartpence. She comes to us with 14 years of experience in the Air Force and also leads the group called Veterans Strong, which is a women's veteran support group. So she started a couple weeks ago. She's doing great. She's already working with Eric and our other veteran navigators from across the state. So just want to let you know she's been hired. Second, wanted to let you know that we are finalizing our interviews for our clinical manager position. My hope is next week to make an offer, and then we'll have a new clinical manager after the first of the year. And then lastly, if you haven't heard, Don Avery, one of our provider network managers, has put in his resignation, and he is going to work as the provider network director for Network 180. So his last day is next week, Wednesday. And at this point, I'm not going to be backfilling his job as is. I'm going to be doing some restructuring. So I will report back to the group next month on what our plan is going to be. So those are a couple staffing updates. The other thing I wanted to let this group know was we did submit our fiscal year 21 financial audit that was due on Halloween. That has been submitted. Fiscal year 22s we're working on right now, and that is due on 12/31. And then we are planning to get that done on time, and then we'll go right into getting fiscal year 23s complete. The other item I wanted to mention is that our oversight policy board is meeting soon on December 6th. It's a Wednesday at 4 p.m. at the Ottawa County Community Mental Health Boardroom from 4 to 6 p.m. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is our substance use disorder strategic plan. We finally got approval from the department, and ours was one of 2 out of the other 10 PIHPs that was excellent. Ours has no work to do. Everybody else had a ton of work. So we're really pleased and excited about that. So the great work can begin with our strategic plan. So that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions for Stephanie at this time from the board? Hearing none. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Stephanie.
Thank
We'll
you.
go on with the rest of the agenda. At this time, Jessica, could you give us a brief report on the program committee or whoever chaired that
Yes.
in Alice's absence?
Yes, so today we learned about the autism program and children's support coordination services. Megan Ford gave those to us. They currently have 6 case managers. She talked about what the actual services are. The case managers connect the families with services within the community. And one thing that I learned was that apparently services used to be known as like a benefit when someone was getting services through the CMHs. And if you're under 21 now, it's no longer considered a benefit. This is what you get, like it's there. What else? I'm trying to think. Let's see. She did give us some success stories with the collaborations between, there was a family, they were trying to work with a case manager and then their provider, and must have been having a hard time communicating. And with the case manager, along with the family member, they were able to relay the information that the participant actually needed. So that seemed very helpful from what the Megan reported out. Another success was a family, the participant, and then in a school setting, the parents were able to, along with their child, communicate to the school what the child actually needed. She said that the child had gone in, or the young person had gone into the school, like was crying, didn't want to be at the meeting. And now that student grades are up, they're doing so much better. So it's just a really good, sounds like they're doing really good work over there. And having those case managers be involved and help facilitate some of those conversations along with the families and the participants has been really helpful. She talked about the number of families and how often they receive services. They said most are 1 to 2 times per month, depending on how often a family a participant might need services. There's many that meet quarterly, and then the further advanced they are in their ongoing services, sometimes the less that they have to meet. So they do have a few, she said about 4 that are right now on a weekly basis, because that's what the participant needs. Currently any autism testing, they have to contract it out. They currently have 3 contractors for that. And from referral to testing, she did say that it's taking about 4 months. It sounds like pre-COVID, it was a lot less time, and they're hoping to eventually get back to that pre-COVID lines. I think we're trying to, all of us, get back to that pre-COVID. There's 200 and some individuals receiving services. I don't remember the full, the actual number, but of those, about 184 are being currently seen and getting like therapy services, things like that. So it's about 75% of those participants. So doing really well. Yeah, that's what we talked about. Leanne did a report out. And then customer service as well. Kathy Potter let us know if anyone has any feedback, information that they want to give, that they can send that to the customer service, things that they're hearing in the community. She said to let those community members, if they do have concerns, to email the customer service. And that included, if we hear anything, we can also reach out to customer service so they're aware of things that, because we all work in different settings. So if we hear community members come back and say, you know, we need X, Y, and Z, and they don't feel comfortable, that we can email out to them, to the customer service email. And I think that's about it. Oh, next month we will be talking with Leanne and the program committee about a program schedule, because now Leanne let us know that there's more programs than there are months in the year. So we have to work on a schedule on how to combine some of these presentations, because thankfully OnPoint has grown. So we don't have enough months, and I'm not going to add any to the calendar year. So we'll have to see how to, we're going to be working with Leanne next month in that and talking about what we want OnPoint bringing to the committee and what we want to hear more about. So Leanne's been gracious enough that she's going to work with us on that.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you stepping in for Alice for this evening. I know it was a little nervous at times.
Yeah, I hope I didn't mess anything up.
No, you did absolutely excellent. Is there any questions for the program committee? Hearing none, thank you very much for your report this evening. The next on the agenda is the financial committee report.
Okay,
Johnson.
thank you. Megan, do you have those motions?
Yes, I do.
Just pass them down and around, everyone can just take one as they go. We have 4 motions tonight. The first motion that you're getting is a correction. And I'll explain that when we get all of them. And the second one is an added motion to the agenda through the finance.
The question wasn't distributed.
Oh, you got the other one around? Oh, let's wait.
Beth is the corrected one for the voucher disbursements?
Yes.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, and then that one they probably still.
That one might be already out too.
Yes.
Yeah, so both distributed. Thank you, Pam.
Well, you're just too quick. Thank you.
Yeah,
You could have just said, I already did it.
I wasn't sure if everyone else got on as
Oh,
well.
okay. All right. Okay, well, starting with the voucher disbursement, not in your packet, the loose one. I make a motion that the OnPoint board approve the October 2023 disbursements totaling $3,498,410.01.
With that motion, do I hear a second to that motion? Glenn? Is there any further discussion on the motion for the approval of the disbursements? Hearing none. This will be a roll call. Mark DeYoung? Yes. Jessica Castaneda?
Yes.
Glenn Brookhouse?
Yes.
Pam Brenner?
Yes.
Emily Bartnick?
Yeah.
Beth Johnson?
Yes.
Jane Farrell?
Yes.
Pastor Van Beek?
Yes.
And I say yes. That motion carries.
Okay, the second motion, back in your packet on page 7, is for some providers. And I make a motion that the OnPoint board approve the following list of provider contracts for fiscal year 2024. And that would be handyman improvements and mindfulness over matters.
Do I hear support?
Support.
Is there any further discussion or questions on the motion? Hearing none, this is a roll call. Kimberly Bartnick? Pam Brenner?
Yes.
Ben Brookhouse?
Yes.
Jessica Castaneda?
Yes.
Mark DeYoung?
Yes.
Gail Dugan says yes. Jane Farrell?
Yes.
Beth Johnson?
Yes.
And Pastor Van Beek?
Yes.
That motion carries.
All right, going on to page 8 on your packet or in your packet. I make a motion to comply with the requirements of 2011 Public Act 152, the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act, by adopting the annual exemption option for the medical benefit plan coverage year, January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
Do I hear support? For a second? Second by Commissioner DeYoung. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Pastor Van Beek?
Yes.
Beth Johnson?
Yes.
Jane Farrell? Gail Dugan says yes. Mark DeYoung?
Yes.
Jessica Castaneda?
Yes.
Glenn Brookhouse?
Yes.
Pam Brenner?
Yes.
And Kimberly Bartnick?
Yes.
That motion carries.
Okay. Back to the loose leaf, we have one more motion. And we'll have discussion if needed. All right. I make a motion that the OnPoint board authorizes the executive director to enter into a contractual purchase for electronic health record, EHR services from vendor PCE on behalf of the board for OnPoint's future growth.
Do I hear a second for that motion?
Support.
Support by Jane Farrell. Is there any further discussion or questions? Yes, Kimberly.
I'm not understanding what this is for.
It's it's like a data management record system, and because we have the new CCBHC, we needed something that had the ability to manage those medical records plus our financial records,
Okay,
and we had to upgrade.
okay. All right, thank you.
Is there any other further questions? Discussion? Any other comments?
Just that you should look on, for transparency, being finance committee. If you flip it over, there is an increase in annual cost. And the first year, it's substantial because it's implementation. After that, it's less than half of that as an increase each year.
With that said, is there any further questions or comments? Since we're spending money, we're gonna have a roll call. Mark DeYoung? Yes. Jessica Castaneda?
Yes.
Mark, Glenn Brookhouse?
Yes.
Pam Brenner?
Yes.
Kimberly Bartnick?
Yes.
Pastor Van Beek?
Yes.
Beth Johnson?
Yes.
Jane Farrell?
Yes.
And I say yes. That motion carries.
As for the financial report, it is for the full fiscal year ending September 30th. But these are preliminary numbers, as Stephanie was just saying, they're not working on fiscal year 2023 yet. And Andre, if you have anything you want to add or any quick highlights, feel free.
Okay, I'll just give them real quick.
Okay.
So as I shared with the board last month, we were in a good financial position and we did end the year. We're projecting to end the year in a good financial position, which is fantastic. It's always easy to talk about those types of things when you're in a good financial position. So, we are anticipating returning money to the state, to the LRE and in the amount of $1.1 million. And we're anticipating to return to the state of Michigan, 500,000. So not bad for this year. We're still waiting for revenues to come in and settle and some additional expenses. So what you are looking at is once again, is preliminary, but we're not expecting to be much from an income statement standpoint. We're not expecting things to be too much different than where they're at right now, which puts us in right now with a net change in that position of $1 million. So that's a good thing. Most of that money is wrapped up in this building. So it's not sitting there as cash. It's wrapped up in this building as well as going towards our deficit elimination plan. So we're still on track with that as well. So I want to try to give you those updates as I remember to do so each month for the board. So those are the highlights. Other than that, everything is really I'm really pleased with how we performed, how OnPoint has performed this year.
All right.
Is there any questions for Andre at this time from the rest of the board? Thank you very much for your report, and between you and Aaron, you did an excellent job when we had budgeted a change in net position of only 77,000.
Right.
And we're over $1 million. That's awesome work.
Thank you.
Mrs. Johnson?
That concludes the finance business.
Okay. Glenn, you have a meeting here next in December, so,
Yeah, we have no meeting to report on this month. It will be next month to align with the annual report that we'll bring to the full board. I would ask that it, because it's a public meeting, it be added to the future meetings list.
Okay.
And it will occur at 3:00.
Is a time change. 3, not 3:30. I'm just confirming, yes, 3, not 3:30, so we'll wanna specify that that is a time change.
We moved it to 3 PM to accommodate for the program committee, sorry.
okay. So that is at 3:00
Next, the 19th,
on the 19th.
correct.
All right. Is there any other questions for Glenn at this time? Hearing none. We'll go on to the, next on the agenda is the chairman's report. You have, we met on the 17th and we had quite the discussion on different things, quite a in-depth, discussion on the motion to, go with a different vendor for, medical records. And the impact that it would have, for us and our standing in the state. It was a good, discussion. We received a compliance update from Mandy written form, as to where we're at, with, there's no issues, concerns, or needs for actions at this time. So we really have come along with compliance. And, Mandy at the helm there. And then we had a discussion as to, the feedback for, some of the terms of Mr. Whitty's contract. And we're in the process of doing some more homework of that. I've contacted the attorney to get further feedback for that, so I can bring that back to the executive board. Just one thing to update or, make notice in our task list for next month is going to be our evaluation of our administrative, director, executive director. Please be thinking about that, because when you get that passed out, then you can, it's more, it doesn't come as a shock. You can whip right through it and give them all good grades. So with that, is there any other questions for me as the chair or, as the executive director? Executive committee, I should say. Hearing none, we'll go on to Mr. Whitty's report. We have your written report, but please take the floor.
Thank you. So just to kind of level set, Jerome, the pies here have nothing to do with the evaluation company. Very important to mention.
Maybe
that.
they should.
No, every November is the month where, I feel like, and I put this in my report too. The gratitude I feel to you as a board for the work that you do, which you'll see a little written comments about that in the card too, but it's just a token of appreciation for the work you put in throughout the year. And try to vary it up from year to year. This year, it seemed like a pie thing. I felt so bad about horning in on Kim's idea from last month with the pie suggestion. But anyway, just to enjoy that. And tonight, we hope that these would be open on the counter for everybody in the room to enjoy, so we wouldn't have to rip into your own. But maybe we'll do that after the meeting for those that have worked hard first. But again, thank you for your work on the board. It's really important, not just to me, not just to our agency, our community, but our clients especially. They benefit from an organization that's well-run, and the extent to which we care well for each other reflects on the care that we provide for them too. So thank you for that. The rest of my report, I'll just hit a couple of highlights. First of all, we've already covered the introduction of Megan, I'll hear about that tomorrow. We talked a little bit about the community health improvement plan, going through some changes at the foundation, so that we have yet to hear a little bit more about. There's a meeting scheduled to kind of get us back on track. There was a meeting of the LRE board that happened on the 15th of November. Some of our members here were present for that. I'd say the main focus of that was really on the financials. There wasn't a lot of program or policy related items under discussion there, but mostly a calculation of where we sit and where we will sit next year relative to funds in general. We have been sort of anticipating a small surplus that could go into the internal service fund of the region. I think as Andre has said, the early read based on the September 30 book closing looks to be like there will be a couple million deficit. It's a last minute swing by one member. So we'll see if that stands. If anything else happens, there's a lot of work to be done on the numbers before everything is final. I did put a fairly lengthy attachment to this month's report. I almost didn't realize how long it was until after it was already a part of it, but several pages really focusing on the issue of standard cost allocation. Now, that's something that most of us really don't have to worry about on a day-by-day basis. But the reason I put that in there is because when I think about as an issue, it's really important as an issue all by itself. We as a system approached the state many years ago asking for them to assist us in being able to identify apples to apples comparatively so that across the state, no matter whether you were CMH in Wayne County or CMH in Allegheny County, no matter where you were, you would be able to count things and allocate things the same way as other CMHs and thereby draw good inferences and good analysis across the state about whether we were underfunded, overfunded, where our needs were, et cetera. You really can't do that unless you count things the same way. Well, the state has gone beyond that original request really to begin to identify some of the things we do as CMH and in the PHPs as managed cost activities or as program activities that are not really related to program. And so the attachment is a request by our state association to understand some of the policy issues involved and how they negatively impact the CMH system. And so it's an important issue by itself, but it's also an important policy issue. So that's why I bring it to the board, because at some point it may be important for us to go on record to our state legislature, our state executives, our state policy officials around the matters that are involved in the standard cost allocation issue. The largest concern underneath it all with the issue of DHHS staff having turned over a lot. There's been a lot of reorganization. Even this week, there was a reorganization of the children's system. There's a lot of institutional memory that's gone about how the system is organized, why it was organized the way it was, and so forth. And it just seems like really important principles are being lost. And the public community-based mental health system that we have today is increasingly being thought about in terms that more appropriately relate to private community-based for-profit and nonprofit behavioral health care. We, as a community mental health agency, are not a private entity. We are a public entity. We are public as the state is public. The state is under obligations to negotiate contracts. It's not impose them. We are not able to be substituted for private providers. They have an obligation that's based in the Constitution and in law and how the community mental health system was set up in the first place. That has to be a foundation of understanding for all of us. And then the approaches that you take to things like standard cost allocation become very different than how the state's approaching it today. So it may feel like there's a bit of a battle, and it feels like we're always going back and teaching the state about things that they should know. And maybe they need to teach us about some things too. I'm not, it's not saying that it's only one way, but it's just important that we approach this the way that the system was built, because there was strength in it at the local level that gave the people of our community the assurance that as the needs they face happen, we are here for them all the time. And that if we need to be, held to account, that we are locally accountable to a publicly appointed board. I didn't put you in your seats, the county commission did, and the voters put them in their seats. So there's a public accountability to everything we do. And that's why it's important that we be thinking in terms of what does it mean to provide locally accountable, publicly founded, and constitutionally supported care in our communities. So that's part of what I was trying to get your attention on when it comes to this information. I'm not really gonna ask for any action tonight, but I just want you to know that there really are important public issues at stake here. Because increasingly, I feel like the state is tipping in the direction of wanting to treat us like they do the publicly or the privately organized Medicaid health plans. So, the rest of it, I will just leave for your information. But I just want to end again with the note of appreciation and thanks for the work you do. It's not everybody's passion to come around a table like this and to get into deep and complex issues, whether they relate to electronic medical record systems or state cost allocation issues or contractual issues with attorneys or any of that. But you do that, and I'm really thankful for your willingness to step up. We have 12 members for each of the 12 seats on the board, and that's only because your willingness to serve is what it is. So with that, I'll entertain any questions you may have, Mr. Chairman.
Is there any questions for Mr. Whitty at this time? Just one concern of when you are going to ask this board for a recommendation or a statement, will it be coming in the form of a resolution to our legislators or back to the association, or will it be just a simple letter or a memo of support?
Could be any of those, but I will certainly make it a formal document that you work on, whether the intent is to communicate to our association, if it's a position that may be at odds with some of our partner agencies, but more likely it will be in support of what the association is recommending, as in the case of the standard cost allocation. And in that case, it might go to the department or to our legislators who speak on their behalf. So it'll depend on the topic, but I would expect that we will have a document review ahead of time and consider it for us to discuss together. And I'll say just, Mr. Chairman, the fact that you and I both serve on the board of the association may make it important for us to come to those meetings with the sense of this group as well. So thank you.
And thank you very much for your report. And that's why I reached out to this board to get their input so I could then bring it to the association at our meetings. And so we have another one coming up on December 1st. It's a virtual meeting that Mark and I will be attending by the Zoom. So if there is concerns, please reach out to either one of us so we can express that concern. With that, now we're to our second provision for public comment. Is there anyone in the room that would like to address the board? Same provisions as before, 5 minutes limit. You can speak on any topic. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? Is there anyone online? Second call? Hearing none, I'll close this second public comment session. Board member comments. Jessica, would you like to lead off?
Sure. I just wanted to say, I hope everyone has a good holiday and thank you for the opportunity to be the program chair today.
Kimberly?
Same thing. I hope everybody has a blessed Thanksgiving and stay safe.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Thank you.
Glenn?
Yeah, I would like to comment on the fall conference if I could.
Yes.
Just the depth of information that was brought forward to work with the indigenous or the tribes or Native Americans, whatever term you're comfortable with. Just, it was very informative, very eye-opening as to how naive I am to the needs of the Native American community. And just also exciting that there's work to partner with the tribes to bring better services.
Okay.
I would like to mirror exactly what they said. Have a great Thanksgiving and enjoy your families.
I'd like the opportunity to just recognize Andre, since he's been here. I've been very impressed by you. You are very thorough. I love your forward thinking. Done an excellent job. So I just want to recognize that and say thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Mark?
I just want to thank every one of the board members for your service to this county and all of our staff for what we do for community mental health and moving forward into the CCBHC. The dedication of everyone here is what is going to make it succeed.
Beth?
I hope your arm feels better.
Better explain.
I slugged them.
Right where I had my flu shot.
I didn't know that part. I did not know that.
That's why teachers teach their students to keep their hands to themselves.
So I was.
Is there anything else, Mrs. Johnson?
Happy Thanksgiving.
And with that, I want to echo the sentiments of the entire board is to have a happy Thanksgiving and a safe one there this year. It seems this type of weather is not as conducive to our mental well-being as it usually is. The stress of the season. Take part of some of the efforts that we do here to help ease that and pre-plan and enjoy your families. One of the things that I wanted to also report is through the IEP process with my son and my wife at Hillside, they asked for more brochures. And I was able to get another handful and take them over there because those are families that are in the dark, so to speak, to what we do and services we render here. And we partner with Hillside and other educational agencies in the county. And they were very thankful that we were able to do that for them. So with that, yes,
I have one more question.
yes.
Who was the young lady in the Allegan paper that's gonna play? Where was that at?
Carnegie Hall.
Carnegie Hall. Who is that?
That is my second daughter.
I thought it was relation to you. Congratulations.
Well,
Sincerely, that's cool.
congratulations to her. She has put her heart in it and as the article said, she started out in 8th grade playing 3/4 bass and she has shown quite a passion for it. And when she had this opportunity, my wife and I encouraged her to audition. And she was accepted through that audition to go to New York in February and to play with this group and to really experience top-notch conductors and professionalism and to play at Carnegie Hall. She's very excited about that. Thank you for your best wishes and the credit goes to her though, is and her mom. With that, is there any further comments from the board? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
Support by Kimberly. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed? We stand adjourned.